What's up, YouTube, and welcome to Codename Scream. I am that horror guy.
And I'm Mel.
And please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications for all things horror. We're still coming at you with more sci-fi horror. This one felt almost more of a sci-fi found footage horror kind of going on here. A lot going on. What are we talking about today?
We are doing The Fourth Kind. It was released November 6, 2009. And oh boy.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Written and directed by Olatunde Osunsanmi.
That was pretty good. I'll give you that.
Out of Tune Old Tsunami.
There you go. Beautiful.
Produced by Paul Brooks and Joe Carnahan. See, I told you it was coming. I warned you
Yeah,
that
we did
there was
warn you.
something coming that I could not say.
And if you weren't warned ahead of time, you should have watched the videos prior to this one.
Yes, I think it's Olatunde Osunsanmi. Whatever.
That was pretty good.
It really doesn't matter.
I'll give you that one.
Let's talk about the budget in the box office.
Yeah, so we got a $10 million budget here. The box office only $47.7 million. It's not terrible, not great.
No. I'll tell you what's not great is the what the critics and the audience thought.
Yeah.
Critic score is a blistering 18%.
Ooh.
Audience score 41%. So we've got quite a divide, but it's still a divide on the low end of things.
And we brought this up at the beginning of this series because we kind of always throw around the whole like, oh, we haven't covered anything lower to this point. If anyone's gone through and watched everything to this point, please refresh our memory. This could be on the lowest end.
Bones? Was that pretty low?
Bones is pretty... I can't remember anymore.
Remember.
Once you start doing, multiple movies a week over the course of an entire year, it starts to kind of all blur together. Yeah. So if you guys have watched it, tell you what, you watch it, you give me that information, I'll send you a sticker. Just message me your address. We'll go from there. We almost forgot the 2021 inflation adjustment for this, which was $60.4 million. So still on the lower side.
Yeah.
Not awful, though. We're going to change things up a little bit this time. Because,
Why? Why is that?
Because someone forgot to do his homework.
Yeah.
That's me. That horror guy definitely snoozed on The Fourth Kind.
He has seen it, though.
I have seen it.
But not recently.
We actually discussed prior to shooting on this one that I was actually pretty scared of this movie the first time I saw it because just those going back and watching the videos and then that alien voice towards the end just literally scared me half to death. I was nodding off a little bit because I never sleep during movies, but I was nodding off a little bit and literally scared the lights out of me. And I own it. I was looking at it this week and I even was like, hey, I think I'm supposed to watch this. And then we come into shooting. I'm like, well then.
Yeah.
So we're going to change things up a little bit, and Just Mel is going to give you Just Mel's synopsis.
Yes. So this follows kind of my favorite type of horror because it's kind of found footage adjacent.
Yep.
So this movie is shot where there's supposed to be real footage side by side next to the actors portraying this real footage, which I haven't really seen a movie like this.
No.
So that was cool right away. So this movie, takes place in Nome, Alaska, where there's apparently a lot of aliens hanging out. We followed Dr. Abigail Tyler. She uses a lot of hypnosis in her therapy sessions. She has a little girl, and her husband supposedly in the middle of the night someone came in, shot him. So it's like this family is coping with, the death of her husband. She notices something strange is happening in her therapy sessions. People are talking about these owls that they see outside their window at night, and then they have these awful dreams. Well, she's using hypnosis and notices a trend and believes that there are aliens. Yes, aliens. There's a lot of cool history with aliens and owls. Like, Google that. Like, you can even pause this video right now, and it's like I'm super into the whole owl alien abduction thing. But yeah, they're seeing these owls outside of their windows, and there's evidence that Dr. Tyler may have been abducted as well. Because she's noticing a lot of things that kind of line up with the stories of her patients. And she decides to go under hypnosis herself. Well, when she does, things start to get weirder and weirder. I'm not going to go into what the weird things are. You're just going to have to watch it. Things get crazy. And at a certain point, her daughter gets abducted. Her daughter is just up and gone. And so she tries to contact these beings in order to get her daughter back. Police start looking at her like, what did you do with this kid? And she's like, I promise it wasn't me. And then she realizes that she's told that her husband's death wasn't someone breaking in, it was suicide, and that ties in with the story. I'm trying not to ruin everything because you have to see this movie, and I could go on forever, but in her alien abduction, she winds up breaking her neck. So toward the end of the movie, you see her in a wheelchair, both portrayed in the movie part of it and the real life part of it. And I'm not going to tell you where the daughter went or anything. You're just going to have to watch it. I'm going to talk a little bit about, I didn't put any fun facts down for this because there's not really a whole lot on this movie. And again, in our, found footage theme, you can't find anything when you research it. Because they want you to make you think this is as real as it gets.
Yep.
But I am going to talk a little bit about some alien stuff, which I'm super into. So J. Allen Hynek's, you may know, like Project Blue Book, like he did that whole thing. He did the scale of UFO encounters, like, from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. We've going way back then. We've heard of this scale. So I just want to tell you, thought this would be fun, what the close encounters are. So there's 1 through 4. The first kind is when you see a visual sighting of a UFO from less than 500 feet away. So that's an unidentified flying object. You've seen it. You saw it with your own eyes. A close encounter of the second kind is when the UFO sighting involves a physical effect, such as vehicular or electronic interference, animals reacting, or physiological effects such as paralysis, some heat or discomfort in the witness, as well as a physical trace, such as impression on the ground, or a chemical trace, which is often found in UFO sightings. A Close Encounter of the Third Kind, which, good movie, go watch it.
Awesome movie.
Is where an entity is present and seems to be occupying the UFO. So basically, the UFO is being flown by something, and you can see it. Close Encounter of the Fourth Kind, which is abduction. So that's why this is called the fourth kind, because all of these things don't necessarily happen. So, these things don't have to happen in order.
Right.
You can just be straight up abducted. Which is what this movie goes into. But yeah, you really just have to watch this movie for yourself, because I can't give a well enough synopsis, because there's just so much happening in this movie that it's crazy. It totally has Paranormal Activity vibes in some ways, but then also, I don't know. You just gotta watch it. But what did you think of this movie when you did watch it?
When I did watch it?
Do you remember what you thought of the movie?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay, good.
What really got me was the whole found footage section of it, the real life stuff, was actually really creepy. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that I remember the most about it, was the fact that found footage felt real, looked real, and was scary as hell. Yeah. And that's where the horror factor really kicked in with this movie. That was the one thing that stood out to me the most of this entire film. As I mentioned in the beginning, that alien voice talking to them scared the daylights out of me. I was nodding off, and I woke up to that, and I was like, what in the ever-living hell? And I wouldn't touch this movie for a good couple months after. Because I wanted to rewatch it again, because that was really good. I couldn't do it. That voice was I'm not ready to listen to that again. I love Mila Jovovich. Yeah. I haven't seen her in anything I don't like yet to this point. But yeah, for what I do remember of it, that was really the selling point to me, was the real-life scenario stuff. What did you think of it?
I love this movie. It is, this is a bold statement, but it is my favorite modern day sci-fi movie.
Very bold
I
statement.
saw this in theaters when it came out, November 2009, and I went. So I'm not. Full disclosure, I am not good at seeing horror movies in the theaters. I like them at home where I can control the volume, and if I know something spooky's coming, I can turn that volume down. I went with someone that I didn't really know very well. It was actually my photographer that took some pictures of me earlier in the day. She's like, I'm going to see a movie tonight. I'm like, what are you going to see? And she's like, oh, this alien movie. And she's like, you want to come? And I was like, sure. So I didn't want to look like a total pansy in the theater, but I, for some reason, said, sure, I'll come with you to see this terrifying movie. It scared the living daylights out of me. I'm not often scared by movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm freaked out by loud noises. That's why I don't go see movies in the theater that often. But this channel is forcing me to as of late. So
yeah.
But this is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life. And like you said, it's the found footage aspect of it that made it scary.
Yes.
And the chick that plays Dr. Tyler in the found footage one is absolutely terrifying. Just her as a person. Like, she looks toward the end of the movie so worn down and just scary looking, and her voice is creepy.
Yep.
And it's like, it just gave me the heebie-jeebies. And most movies, like I said, once I'm out of the theater and the loud noises have stopped, I'm fine. I was creeped out for like days after watching this movie. I think it is a very well written movie. There are like zero plot holes in this, which I'm big on the plot holes, especially in sci-fi, because they're all in sci-fi. We've all watched a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
Right.
We know the sci-fi plot holes. There's like none in this movie. The fact that they use like real life UFO alien terminology, such as the encounter rating system, also the thing with owls. I recently read a book on owls and their close proximity with alien encounters, and the fact that they use this in a movie, that being such not a super well-known fact to the general public unless you're like super into UFOs, like bringing that into the mainstream was super cool to me.
Oh yeah.
I love this movie. It is one of my favorite movies, and it is definitely my favorite modern sci-fi movie.
Some strong statements here. Makes me actually want to go watch it again.
Me too, because it's fantastic.
Which I will be doing this week. But we are just here at the tail end of the sci-fi horror. We got a couple more left in there. Ones I'm real excited about. Actually, we were just talking about them.
Yeah.
You guys will hear about them soon. But let's talk about this one a little bit more. If you have seen it, sound off in the comments below. Message us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or email us. And discuss the fourth kind a little more. Learn something new with the kinds today. That was cool. And for those of you that have not as of yet, we do have a Patreon. We're going to shamelessly plug for just a moment. Got a bunch of exclusive content on there. It's a lot of the body horror realm and Serbian film.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately that is on there.
I've been fine all day until you said those words, and now I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it just doesn't leave you ever. But go over there. It's only $1 per month. We're doing exclusive content, letting you guys kind of dictate the motion of where the channel heads. Next month, we got a really cool concept that patrons will find out about first. You guys will hear about it as we get closer, and then you guys will get to see the hard work the patrons put into this. So join us today. It'll be a great time. And with that being said, scary later, YouTube.